StraighTAllDay.com.
You are now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all under the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is you are focused on the wrong numbers. So we talked about the data deciding. We talked about success being math, not magic, just in yesterday's episode. Today we're going to talk about what math you actually need to be paying attention to. But before we do that, let me tell you all, I want you to text me and tell me the best insight you got from today's masterclass while you are listening at this number, 305-384-6894. It's also the number you can text me at to get into my text community and get my daily motivation text that I send out every single day, free of charge, straight to everyone in my text community. Again, that number 305-384-6894 is listed down below in the show notes. Secondly, the next step for you to get deeper into the work on your game world, for you to take your game to its next level, is to join Work on Your Game University. That's where you get access to all of my exclusive trainings. You get access to all of my courses, my physical mailings that I send out every month, the Black Book, and also the Bulletproof Bulletin. Those are all for everyone who's a member of the university at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Both of those, the phone number that I told you about and the links are down below in the show notes. Now, to today's topic, you are focused on the wrong number. Now, numbers. Me being a heavy social media producer, not a consumer, but a producer, I see many people focus on exactly what social media wants you to focus on, which is the vanity metrics that gets people's attention, but is not actually helping you get to where you want to get to if you're specifically trying to build a business. And I talked about, let me tell you what episode that was where I laid this all out. And a bunch of you who want to build your business and you're using social media to do it, nothing wrong with doing that, but you got to make sure you are, again, looking at the right thing. I talked about this in episode number, I'm looking for it right now, I got so many episodes where I talked about building your brand, is episode number 1391. Build a business before you build a brand. If you have not listened to episode 1391, please go do that, especially if you are trying to build your business through the internet and you are selling things digitally. You need to understand there's a difference between having a business and having a brand. They are not the same thing, and just because you are strong in one area does not necessarily mean that you're strong in another, nor does it mean that you need to be, depending on which side you are strong at. Let's get into this topic. Point number one. Topic again today is you are focused on the wrong numbers. Point number one, social media's business data is not equal to your business data. The data that social media gets excited about, meaning the platforms themselves, like the people who run things and they are in charge of generating revenue at Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, the data that they look at to know that they're doing their business successfully is not the same as the data that you should be looking at to know that you are doing your business successfully. You should listen very closely to what I'm saying here today, because this is high level stuff that I would usually charge you to tell you. All right, so please pay attention. And the social media apps will not tell you this, what I'm telling you right now. I laid this out for you in episode 1690, where I told you the secrets that the social media applications don't want you to know. Understand that social media's business model is to suck as much of your time away from you as possible, sell that time, that means your attention, your time on the app. They sell your time on the app to the big brands like McDonald's and Coca-Cola and Amazon, companies like that, Procter & Gamble. They sell your time to those brands. Those brands pay a ton of money for advertising. And those brands, because they have such big advertising budgets, they are not actually measuring the results of their advertising. This is not direct response advertising they're doing. They're doing brand advertising, which it doesn't get measured by nature. And social media apps like that, because if they're not measuring, then they don't care how much they're spending. So the social media apps just make money hand over fist from these people. And you do not participate in this transaction. See, the big companies, they can spend that much money on advertising because they make that much money from the activity and sales that they do every single day. And the social media apps love this because they're making their money. This is how they make their money. They can go to those companies and say, look how much time Johnny and Lisa are spending on the app. So if you want to advertise to Johnny and Lisa, you got to pay us this much. And the companies are happy to do it because they have these budgets. You are the commodity in the middle of this transaction that is being commoditized. You're being bought and sold, and you don't get paid for any of this. This is the business model of social media. Now, while you can get brand deals and free clothes and food and get your money from these advertising deals that you do because you have followers on social media, keep in mind that your time is much more valuable than all of that. The time that you give to the app that allows them to monetize you, for them to get paid on the back end. So you got to be sure that you are using social media as a producer, not as a consumer. Every minute you spend using social media as a consumer, you are being commoditized, you are being bought and sold, and you are not being paid. All right, that's the only way that you can opt out of the matrix, is to stop using the apps as a consumer. But you probably don't want to do that because they are scientifically engineered to make you want to use them as a consumer. All right, that's why they are what they are. And keep in mind that whatever a brand can pay you for a campaign, any of you out there who does brand deals, I've done plenty of brand deals in my life, understand they're making more money than they're paying you. All right, that's why they can afford to pay you. So whatever money you're making from doing a brand deal, understand that they're still getting a better end of the deal. And if they're not getting a better end of the deal, they won't do another deal with you. All right, this is just, again, what did we just talk about in yesterday's episode? Success is math, not magic. Why do you think a company like Nike or a company like Skims or a company like whoever, name any company that does brand deals with influencers out there, why do you think they can afford to give you free gear and pay you the money that they pay you to advertise their stuff? All right? Their business is bigger than your business. So if they have a bigger business than you, right? Which means they know more and they can execute more when it comes to making money than you can because they have a bigger business than you. That's simple math. How can they afford to give you as much stuff as they give you in cash and prizes and still run a business? And they're doing it with you and 100 other people as well. How can they afford to give all that money and all that free stuff to all those people, including yourself, and still have a successful business? It's because they're making more money off of your advertising their stuff than they are paying you to advertise the stuff. They come out better in the deal than you do. Do you understand what I'm saying? If they can afford, and you can think of this with any job, everybody who's listening to this, if you ever had any kind of job, I don't care if you're working at McDonald's, I don't care if you are a head of mergers and acquisitions at a Fortune 500 company, whatever the company is paying you, they are making more money off of your efforts than they are spending to have you. That's the only way that they can stay in business. If it's costing them more money to pay you than what they're making on the back end from your efforts, then they have to get rid of you or they got to cut your pay. Otherwise, they're going to go out of business. If you were making more money off the deal than they were, then they wouldn't be in business. They'd be insolvent and you wouldn't have a job. The only reason they can continue to pay you what they're paying you, those of you influencers out there doing brand deals, is because if they pay you $5,000 for the deal, they're making at least $5,001. Because if they were only making $4,000, that means they lost money on the deal. That means they'll either A, never do a deal with you again because they lost money on the deal, or B, they'll do another deal with you happily because they know they made more money off of it than they had to pay you. Again, math, folks. Success is math, not magic. Okay? That's why they're able to pay you what they're paying you. They are still using you. You are not using them. And this is not necessarily a bad thing. Now, it's not bad to allow the company to use you as long as you understand the deal and you understand the math of what's actually going on here. Because if everybody opted out of being used, then nobody would have a job and the entire economy would collapse. So there's nothing wrong with being used as long as you understand that you're being used. I played professional basketball for almost a decade. Every single one of those deals that I signed, the team that I was playing for made more money off of me than I made off of them. That's the reason why they were willing to pay me. Every brand deal that I've ever done, I've done brand deals with Gatorade, Wendy's, USA Today, Nike, Samsung, other companies I do deals. I can't even remember all the companies I did deals with. But every company that I did a deal with, Stash, which is an investment app, every company that I did a deal with, whatever amount of money that they paid me, even if it was a significant amount to me, they made more money out of the deal than I did, because that's the only way. Again, they would be out of business if they did too many bad deals where they spent more than they made. Everybody get it? Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is you are focused on the wrong numbers. Number 2, can you draw a line? This is a question. From your social media outcomes to your business outcomes. This is a question. Can you take what you do on social media and the results from your social media activity, can you draw a line from there to what's happening in your business? Most people cannot draw this line, and there's a good reason why most people can't, because the line usually goes in the opposite direction. What I mean is, your metrics on social media are not a leading indicator for your business outcomes. I wrote about this in, I believe it was the December issue of my Bulletproof Bulletin, which goes out to everyone who's in my university. Your social media outcomes, whatever happens on social media, that is not an indication of what's about to happen in your business. In other words, getting more followers on social media does not mean you're going to make more money. Everybody hear what I just said? Your metrics on social media, if anything, are a trailing indicator of your business outcomes. In other words, let me translate that. What you are doing in business, when you are making more money and doing more and better business, will be reflected in what happens on your social media. You'll get more followers on social media and more engagements or likes or comments or whatever it is you like on social media if and when you do more and better business, if anything. And often there is no correlation whatsoever. The only connection is that when your business is doing what it needs to do, more people may engage with you on social media. In other words, you might get more followers on social media because you are doing more and better business. But just because you get more followers on social media, or likes or comments or subscribers or whatever vanity metrics the social media matrix has you fooled into paying attention to, none of those is a direct reflection, or none of those is a direct indication that you're about to make more money. Followers on social media are not buyers in your stores or on your website. They are not a reflection of how much money that you're about to make. And I talked about this in episode 1690. I've talked about it in other episodes. I talked about in episode 1114 how much does social media matter for your business. Followers are not buyers, and buyers are not followers. If you are a professional at what you do in business, and I hope that many of you are, especially those of you who are the head guy or girl in your business, you can easily, especially those of you who are active on social media, because I know that some people who are in my university, some people who are clients of mine, they're not big social media users. So this point that I'm about to make is not specifically for you if you're not a big social media user. But if you're a user of social media, and I know many of you who are clients of mine, those of you who've been in my coaching programs, those of you who are in my university, many of you are users of social media. You use it consistently. You talk about your business on social media, and people can buy from you just straight off, from your websites and things like that. This does not apply to everyone, but to those of you to whom it does apply, you can look at your customer list and you can look at your social media followers, and you can see that a bunch of your customers, the people who buy from you and spend money with you and your clients, are not the people who are the most actively using your social media. A bunch of your clients don't even follow you on all your social media. They're not even looking at what you're doing on social media. They don't even know what you're doing on social media. But a bunch of the people who are very actively engaged with what you're doing on social media are not buying anything from you, not spending any money with you, even though they're actively engaged with what you're doing on social media. And I don't even need you to confirm this. I know that it's true, because I've seen enough of it to know that this is exactly how it works. Your followers are not your customers, and your customers are not your followers. There is some overlap, but there's not a ton of overlap. The people who are spending money with you are not the ones who are leaving comments on all your posts. All right, is this true or is this not true? If somebody can tell me that I'm wrong, let me know. There's often a difference in these groups. Again, there's sometimes some overlap, but there is not a ton of overlap. And all of you who are building your businesses on the internet, building your brands online, you're using the internet to drive business. I'm not telling you that you're wrong to use the internet to drive business, but I want you to understand this. Excuse me. Just because somebody is commenting on your posts or liking your stuff or sharing your stuff does not mean that they're going to spend any money. Again, look around. You can see this very easily. If you really think about this, you'll notice this very quickly, and it'll be a refreshing. For some of you, it'll be refreshing. For some of you, it'll be a rude awakening. But it's like somebody throwing a glass of cold water in your face. Did you see the movie The Wolf of Wall Street? When with who was that? Leo DiCaprio. And every time his wife got mad at him, she would wake him up out of his sleep by throwing a glass of water in his face. All right, that's what some of you need. All right, this is your wife throwing a glass of water in your face. Okay, letting you know, if you really look at it, the people who are the most engaged with your social media, leaving comments, sharing your stuff, liking your stuff, whatever it is they can do on your stuff. Look up that individual person. Look up those individual persons. You can see the people who are the most active on your social medias, and then look at your customer list and look that person's name up. All right. Often you won't even see them. They're not even there. They haven't bought anything, but they like every single thing you post. All right. The money and the engagement ain't the same thing. This alone, this realization alone should let you know that social media is not the main driver of your business, folks. I don't know how many different ways I can say this. I'm going to keep saying it until all of you get it, because some of you are never going to get this. That's why I'm going to have to keep talking about it. Some of you already 100% understand this, and some people ain't never going to get it. Okay, a leading indicator means when this happens, that means this is about to happen. All right, social media is not a leading indicator for business. The only business for whom social media is a leading indicator are the social media apps themselves. They are a business on their own. All right, they make their money by your engagement. So the more you pay attention to social media and you give it time, they make money. But you don't make money just because somebody's paying attention to your social media. Does everybody follow what I'm saying? Unless you're doing brand deals. That's the only correlation. And when you're doing a brand deal, the company that you did the brand deal with is making more money off that deal than you are. All right, so again, this is the numbers that you have to understand. I hope everybody's catching what I'm saying here. So in other words, the only connection is that when your business is doing what it needs to do, more people might engage with you on social media, or they may not, depending on what you sell and who you're selling it to. In episode 2120, I told you the biggest jump in business is from $0 to $1. For someone to engage with you on social media, it costs them $0. Someone engaging with your business and becoming a paying client or a customer, it costs at least $1, right? So there's a big difference between that $1 buyer and that $0 commentator on YouTube. So which one matters more to you? The commentator who paid nothing, or the customer who paid $1 but might not say anything on social media? Given the answer that you just gave, I'm hoping your answer is $1 if you're a business person, because this topic is specifically for the business people who are, you're focused on making money, not just getting followers and subscribers. Your business activities on a daily basis need to be reflective of that answer that you just gave. Now the question is, are they? Are your business activities reflective of your focus being on that person who spent $1 but might never leave a comment? Or are you focused on the person who leaves a comment but never spends $1? Which one are you focused on if you had to pick one? Now I know ideally you have all of them, right? You have all the commentators, all the followers, all the likes, all the comments, all the subscribers, and you would have all the money. But if you had to pick between focusing on the person who gives you the $1 but never leaves a comment, never follows you, never subscribes to you, or the person who subscribes to everything, comments on everything, but never spends any money, which one do you want? Now that you answered the question, here's my question. Look at your activity and tell me, does it reflect what you just said? Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is you are focused on the wrong numbers. Oh, and by the way, a follow-up on point number 2. This is why you got to take with a grain of salt the comments of people who can see what you're doing on social media, but they have no idea how to run a business, usually because they don't have a business. You got to make sure you're not listening to the wrong people and that you're not ignoring the right people. All right, point number 3. Drill this into your brain, what I'm about to tell you. Drill everything I've said here today into your brain, but drill this right here into your brain. You do not get paid for likes, comments, followers, subscribers, or views. Taking a sip of water on that one because I want this one to sink in. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna take another sip of water and I'm gonna finish this bottle. You see I got a little bit left. You do not get paid for likes, comments, followers, subscribers, or views. These things are means to an end for your business. If anything, they are not the business itself, unless you work at or for Facebook or TikTok, or Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. You don't get paid for these things. They get paid for those things. So when you do things that draw likes, comments, followers, subscribers, and views, you are making money for the social media apps, but you are not making money for yourself. And if you're an entrepreneur, you're a serious business person, you're a professional about what you're doing, this should mean a lot to you. So you should have this drilled in your brain. As a matter of fact, you should write down what I just said, transcribe it, get it printed up on a piece of paper, and thumbtack it to the wall next to your desk in your office, you entrepreneurs out there, so that you keep this in mind every single day when you go to work. Social media apps make more money the more engagements and activities that take place on the apps. And guess who makes all the engagements and activities happen? You do. So again, they are monetizing your activity, but you don't make any money off of it. Are you getting what I'm saying here? For someone to engage with you on an app, they have to spend time on the app. And social media apps make their money based on time. They make their money based on how much time people like you and I spend on the apps. But you don't make money when people spend time looking at your posts or like your picture or leave a comment or follow you. You don't make any money for that. None of these things get you paid. So is it possible, again, here's the caveat, is it possible some of your followers and subscribers will also be buyers? Yes. Listen, some people who are listening to this have bought things from me, but you also follow and or subscribe to me on some social media application. I'm not counting a podcast app as an application, but if you're watching this on YouTube or Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, all the ones with the feeds that just go on and drain your time, many of you have bought things from me and you follow me on one of those applications. Okay, so you are the exceptions to the rule that I just laid out. And yes, you are exceptions. Your business needs to be focused on identifying the people who are buying from you and who will buy from you, not just getting lost in the matrix of the vanity metrics, which mean absolutely nothing and are completely worthless to the bottom line of your business. And yes, that's what they are. They are worthless to the bottom line of your business. Your followers and subscribers are worthless to the bottom line of your business, with the only exception being they can help you land brand deals. But the caveat to the caveat is that when you land a brand deal, the company that you do the deal with makes more money off the deal than you do. They're making more money off you than you are making off of them. All right, that's why they're willing to do the deal with you. Again, this is simple math, folks. It is not magic. Point number 4. Today's topic, once again, is you are paying attention to the wrong numbers. Let me remind you of an inconvenient truth. Another inconvenient truth. I told you a bunch of them here today. Here's another one. Any of the social media apps, and this is specifically for those of you who are influencers, if you consider that to be your main, that's your occupation, you call yourself an influencer. Now, I am an influencer, but that's not my main occupation. My main occupation is I own a business. I do some influencing things, and if someone comes to me with the right brand deal, I may do it, but I understand what I just explained to you, of course. My main occupation is not influencer, but if your main thing is influencer, meaning you make the majority of your money by influencing and doing brand deals, and you make your money because of your status on social media, your number of followers, and you get free gear and free trips and free food, and you get paid to advertise products and stuff like that. This is specifically for those of you in that category and for those of you who want to get into that category. Any of the social media apps upon which your business is based, because that's how you become an influencer, because you got all these followers and you're popular, right? Any one of these apps can collapse on any given day. Oh, you think it can't happen? Oh, it happens. And it will happen. Every app out there 20 years from now ain't going to be the same as it is right now. Guaranteed. They come and they go. You might not think it's possible, but it will happen. Any of them can collapse on any given day. And if and when they do, your entire quote unquote business, because you don't actually have a business, what you actually have is a job, and your audience, which is not yours, is their audience, you're just borrowing it, those audiences and those businesses of yours that you think you have, they go when those apps go. All of it falls apart. It all falls down, like the Kanye West song. Any of these apps can kick you off. Here's another inconvenient truth. They can get rid of you any given day for no reason whatsoever. Does any of you know somebody who got their account deactivated or suspended or deleted for no reason? You don't even know why you got deleted. It just got deleted. Any of you know anybody that had that happen to them? I do. Listen, if you do not have direct control over the direct access to the people who are giving you money, you do not have a business. That is not a business. You do not have a list. A list meaning you have the direct contact information of specific people who have given you permission to contact them directly, i.e. email, phone number, physical address, one of the three. If you do not have a list of those people who have given you money of that contact information, you do not have a business. What you have is you have a house that is built on sand. And you know what happens to houses built on sand when the waves come in? Oh, the houses get washed away. And you can be washed away with it very easily. So if you consider yourself to be a professional and you're a serious entrepreneur, please wake up to these truths that I just told you, because they will be used against you if it's not happening already. All that said, let's recap today's class, which is you are focused on the wrong numbers. This is specifically to the entrepreneurs out there who want to make sure you're running your business professionally, and especially those of you who are using social media heavily. All right. Point number one, social media's business data is not your business data. Their metrics, the ones that matter the most to them, are the ones that should matter the least to you. But the way they have it set up, and this is the genius thing they did, is that they have you focusing on the same metrics that make them money but don't make you money. They are using you, you are not using them. Point number two, can you draw a line from your social media outcomes to your business outcomes? Most people cannot, and this is why you should be using social media as a producer and not as a consumer, because they are sucking your time away. They're making money, but you ain't. In episode 2120, I told you the biggest jump in business is from $0 to $1. Can you tell me, actually, there's a big difference between the $1 spender, the buyer from you, and the $0 commentator who will suck all your time away by engaging you with comments and likes and all of that nonsense. Which one matters more to you? And then looking at your business activities, are your actions reflective of which one matters more, the $0 commentator or the $1 buyer? Point number three, drill into your brain that you do not get paid for likes, comments, followers, subscribers, or views. They are means to the end of a business, maybe. They are not the business itself. They are the business of the social media apps. And if you don't work at those apps and you are not an owner of one of those apps, then that is not your business. You should adjust accordingly. And number four, let me remind you of a couple inconvenient truths. Any one of these apps can go away any given day. Any one of them can kick you off any given day. And if you don't have direct control over direct access to the people who are giving you money, you do not have a business, you have a job. You can be washed away very easily, like the sand when the rain comes in and the waves come in. All that said, text me, tell me the best insight you got from today's class. My number is 305-384-6894, and go to workonyourgameuniversity.com so we can talk about professionalizing your business. You get into my business builder course, get into the work on your game system, get into the bulletproof mindset, and let's talk about actually putting some real business materials in place in what you have going on so that you don't get used up by these applications. You actually use them instead of them using you. All that said, work on your game. Dre, oh yeah, it's at workonyourgameuniversity.com if I didn't say that. DreAllDay.com, work on your game.